Hey everyone, Josh here from Fresh Start Customs, and today we are going to be talking about a new material that I got for you guys. I talked to my local supplier, they talked with their supplier. I've got a custom material made as close to proof grade material that I could get it at a cheaper price here for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the differences because there are slight differences, but it works great just like proof grade material. There's going to be a few settings that you'll need to change. And then I'll talk about all the differences between low-grade wood that you can get from Menards that I did in a previous video, this high-grade wood that I sourced here for you guys, and then the proof-grade material and what you can expect from each. So we're going to do a little bit of comparisons on each of them really quick. I'm going to do a quick rundown. I've got a lot to unpack here for you guys. So I'm going to try and keep the video as short as possible, but I'm going to go as detailed as possible on all different material types and what you can expect from this type of material if you choose to purchase it from me. If you end up purchasing it from me, I'm going to probably keep it all local through like personal messages through Facebook. So you can message me on my Facebook page or my personal account, and then we'll just pay by PayPal. And it's going to be to the United States only and shipping. Just because I don't really want to ship outside the United States. There's a lot of issues with shipping lately, so I'd rather not do that. I'm going to keep it all through personal messages together. That way I can actually take photos for you guys when I ship it out, and just send you the tracking number as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this here. So we're going to start with the low-grade wood from Menards and what you can expect from that and what the difference is from that to this wood that is, and then we're going to move to proof grade here last. So you'll see a few photos pop up on the screen as we go along because I'm kind of far away from the camera and this is the only angle I can fit everything in. And later on in the video, as you can see over here, we're going to explain how you can finish the wood and mask it just like proof grade material so to end up looking just like that. And we've got a lot of examples of the wood after it's been printed, and I'll do some close-ups of that as well since we're kind of far away from the camera. So let's go ahead and jump into this. This is the stuff that I did in a previous video from Menards. It looks great on this side, as stated in that video. There are a few blemishes. I'll throw a photo of that on the screen right now. So this blemish right here is pretty typical. That can be found in the wood that I have and in proof grade wood. You'll rarely see it in the wood that I have because any kind of blemishes like that I'm going to probably keep for myself. It may be small ones like that, but anything that's bigger than like the size of a quarter, I'll just use that for myself because I want to get you guys the highest quality possible. And like I said, I'm going to take a photo of the actual material before I send it to you so you know exactly what you're going to get. So on the other side of the Menards though, this is where it comes into play. I'm going to throw another photo of this up on the screen. As you can see, this is going to be B grade or lower on this side. This is going to be where you can get big knots in the material. Obviously you don't want that because a lot of times it won't cut through that knot there. Sometimes it's even missing veneer where it's missing a section of it and you can see the glue underneath. So obviously you don't want that. That's the reason why if you're only going to do one side, Menards wood is great. It works well. But if you need like a 3D project, you're either going to have to find a clever way to hide that knot and work around it as you cut, or you're going to have just a big knot standing out there like if you did those gaming stands that I had. So that's just a heads up on that. I've got 2 sheets of each just to show you that it's pretty consistent. So here's another sheet, looks great on this side. And then on this side, we actually got 2 knots. We got one down here and then one up here. It looks ugly. And then there's a lot more blemishes in it. So that is why I told you guys in that previous video that I'm gonna source my material here. So this is my material. I'm gonna be sending instructions for the settings that you can expect to use. I've got photos and everything. And later on in this video, I'm going to do like a little cut scene, show you really quickly how to do the settings, even though it's pretty self-explanatory on here, but just in case you're brand new, I wanted to make a real quick video section so you guys have that as well. And then we'll get to the examples at the end here. But let me get rid of that. So this is the material here. As you can see, It's super nice and creamy. I think it's even like lighter than the Menards wood just by a little bit. It's kind of hard to see on camera there, but this is really creamy, really nice, both sides. Very little, like if there is a blemish it's just a small speck. That's going to be typical. That's going to be on all type of materials. So it's really creamy, looks nice. Now there is one thing that I want to point out, and this is going to be on all material types too, the low grade, my grade, and proof grade here, is where the two veneers meet up. So like right here is a sheet of veneer, and this is where they had to continue the veneer. There's going to be a very small line where those two veneers meet up. I'll throw a photo of that on the screen really quick. And like I said, this is on proof grade and low grade material as well. There's no real way of getting around that on material because that's just how the veneer has to lay onto the core itself. And then the main difference here that I was telling you about is this is going to be a pure MDF core. I think Glowforge states that they use a wood core. It seems kind of like an MDF core to me as well. But it's not as black on the outside of a cut. So with this stuff, you're going to have a darker cut on the outside. So let me grab one of these examples. It'll be a darker black color on the outside. And then with the settings later, I'm going to go over this later, but you're going to change the cut settings to 120 speed, full power, and it'll cut through just like butter. You can reduce that to 130 speed full power if you want a little bit less of that black char on the outside and a little bit less residue on top. It cuts pretty consistently like that. I just wanted to include the 120 speed full power just to give it that little extra cut power. That way it falls out real nice and neat for you every time. And I'll explain that later here in that subsection here. So now we're going to go to proof grade. So I've got two examples of proof grade just to show you that proof grade has these defects as well. So with proof grade, I'm going to throw a photo of this one too on the screen really quick. As you can see, there is this nasty looking knot there. It's got these weird little speckle things on it. I don't even know what that is. But I wanted to show you that proof grade has that as well. You won't get anything that'll look like that actual dug in knot from the material that I have because everything will be hand picked. I don't actually have any in my entire batch that I had to order because I had to do a minimum order of this stuff in order to get it. That's why it took 2 months to get it. I had to put a lot of money up front to get this stuff, so hopefully you guys like it. If you don't, then I probably won't continue to sell it. I'm just going to do this as a test run for you guys to see if you actually like it, and it's something that was worth my time to do for you guys. So it's kind of a test trial run here. Let me go ahead and grab this other sheet and show you. Like, proof grade is great material, don't get me wrong. This is a better example of proof grade. It has a nice creamy finish just like mine, and then it does come pre-masked. I just took the masking off of this side here so you can see it, and it comes pre-finished too. So that's the benefit of Glowforge. But one sheet of the thick Glowforge material is going to be $20, and then the material that I have is going to be $7. So less than double the price, or less than half the price, I should say. So if you line this up with my material here, it almost looks like it's an extension of the proof grade material here. So once you get that spray on top, it's going to look just like this clear coat on proof grade. So I'm going to show you that really quickly, and then we're almost done to jump into the settings. So if you want it to look like proof grade, you can just get I use this stuff, a real quick spray can of shellac here. Later on in the settings video, I'll show you my new shop suggested links for laser engraving materials. So you can get a can of this and some masking tape. So all you got to do, shake this up, spray it on. You can do it kind of thin. All you need is a thin coat to get that clear shine to it, and it'll dry nice and glossy. And then all you need to do is let that completely dry, and you can mask it. So if you want it to be completely done, you can do that in advance. I personally like to just mask it raw, cut out my my design, and then use the shellac spray at the end. That way it can actually seal the edges as well. Technically you could do that on Proofgrade material too, but you'd be double shellacking it because you'd be going over the finish already. So that's what I like to do, is cut it out while it's raw but masked, and then use the shellac afterwards. But you can do it first and then put the masking tape on after. The masking tape just doesn't tend to hold as well to it afterwards. But that's pretty much it. That is the new material type. I hope you guys enjoy it. I wanted to be upfront about everything that you can expect from it. And then, like I said, with that char, if you use like 120 speed, it will be a little bit more powder on there. Like if you rub your finger on it. See, I barely can get it on there, but if you rub your finger on it right after it comes out of the machine, you'll have some of that black residue. All you gotta do is take either a wet paper towel or simple green wipe around it, and that'll get rid of the residue if you don't like it. But that's pretty much it. So we're gonna jump into settings really quick, and then we'll come back here after for some examples, finish up the video. So we're gonna jump into settings and where you can get these types of materials, and we'll see here afterwards. Alright you guys, so as stated earlier in the video, I'm going to do a quick, brief rundown of how you use this material. First off, you want to mask your material if you don't want any kind of residue on it, just like any type of laser engraved material. This one I didn't mask, I just threw in here to show as an example of what you can do. You can do unmasked, mask one side, or mask both sides, and use the settings that are on the instruction sheet, and it'll fall out really nice and easy. There may be some parts where you just got to push with your finger very lightly and it should fall right out with those correct settings there. Like I said earlier in the video, if you use like 130 speed full power, you can get a little bit less residue, but sometimes you got to push a little bit harder with your finger. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into this and I'll show you how to do this here. So as you can see, I uploaded my design here already. You can do that with your import artwork and then upload. And then all you got to do is select your material type. So for this material type, all we're going to do is we're going to select the unknown button here and choose thick maple plywood. And once you have thick maple plywood selected, all you're going to have to do is you can keep the engrave the same, you can keep the scores the same for Proofgrade material. The only thing that we're going to change is the cut settings. I always like to change it right after doing the set focus. So what you want to do is click these three dots, just like I have in the instructions. Click set focus. Click anywhere on your physical material. Make sure if you have like a hollow spot, you don't click on the hollow spot on your crumb tray. So click anywhere on the material where you're going to cut. As you can see, it's focusing now. I'm going to fast forward to where it's done focusing here. Alright, so as you can see, it now says ready and it's done focusing. So all you have to do, the only settings you'll have to change for this is your cut settings. So you'll click on your cut settings here, and then you can click this little arrow if you don't have it already pre-saved like I do here. But you can go ahead and click your little arrow, and then you can change from 150 to 120, just like the sheet says. And you can click off of it. Just make sure this is on auto. It should automatically be on auto since you click set focus first, like I was talking about. And then that's it. All you got to do is hit print, and then print off your design, and you're done with that. Now, like I was talking about earlier, if you want a little bit less residue on the edges, you can change this to 130. It cuts pretty consistently at 132. I always like to give it a little bit extra power though, or a little less speed, which would be more power technically. That way you know that it'll cut through every time for you. And if you're having any issues on the 120 speed full power like I was talking about, make sure your lenses are clean and your fans are clean, especially your small air assist fan in the back. Then you should have no problems with this material here. So once we print this off, then you're good to go, and that's all you need to do to use the material. If you were curious on where you can get like the masking tape and the clear coat that I was talking about, I do now have an Amazon like shopping list here of all the recommended materials for lasers that I would recommend. The third one right here is that masking tape that I use. You can use any kind of paper masking tape. Make sure it's a paper-based masking tape, none of that clear coat or vinyl, because the clear coat or vinyl is not safe. So make sure you have a paper masking tape, and you'll want like a squeegee to squeege that masking tape onto there. And then if you're going to do like 3D designs, kind of like I showed you, you'll use a rubber tip hammer, and then you'll also need a digital caliper. That way you can make any edits to your 3D designs if it's a different thickness than what the design states. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you can see like these simple green wipes or simple green in general. This stuff works great to wipe any kind of residue off if you need to. And then you can just look through this if you need anything else. This is the last item that I was talking about. This is that clear shellac spray. I use this a lot. You can get the wipe-on kind as well if you need that. I just use the spray-on kind. It's super easy. Just do a light sprayed coat, and that finishes off your design. I usually do this after cutting instead of before cutting. That way the masking tape holds on better. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the end of the video here, and we'll go from there. Alright you guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far. I hope that settings video showed you guys, if you've never used any kind of non-Proofgrade material, how to do it. Like I said, it's pretty easy since I only use Proofgrade settings except for the cut settings. Feel free to actually go through and test your own settings out. You can probably get even better quality than just draft photo settings. And you can experiment with it. Just know that you may ruin a piece because you're going to experiment with it. But Proofgrade settings and then 120 speed, full power for cuts work awesome on this. I've got some examples here. I'm going to throw some photos up because I'm pretty sure you won't be able to see them from this distance. If you can, that's great. But I'm still going to throw some better photos up so you can see a close-up here. So I'm just going to hold up a few quick examples. I doubt you can see it from here. If you can't, I'm going to just leave the photo up here. So this is a faded eagle design that I made a long time ago. It turned out really well with the photo engrave. We have two different cats here. We've got a lion and a tiger. And I did these kind of small just so I didn't take a lot of time actually printing these off. So I'll throw two of these up individually so you can see those. And then lastly, for another photo engrave, we've got the American flag here, and I'll throw another photo up of that. And then this is where you can really see that nice creamy color is on these little games here that I made, little slide out penny games. These look great. You just make sure you put masking tape on it first before you cut it if you want it to be this creamy of a color. Otherwise you're going to have that brown laser residue like you would on any kind of laser material. So these turned out awesome. As you can see, I made a bunch of these. I have a few more in the other room. I'm going to make these for some friends and family members. So these looked great. Other than that, the only thing else is, like I said, you use some clear shellac if you want to finish the product. You can sand the product down. If you use like masking tape and you pull it up, you might see some of those like individual wood grains pull up. If you sand it down beforehand, you may not see as much of that, or you can sand it down after. It's totally up to you. You're welcome to experiment with it. And then, like I said, you would want to mask your wood pretty much every time you use it. I prefer that, but if you prefer the look of the laser smoke and residue, you don't have to mask it at all. It's totally your call. You can mask single-sided or double-sided. It works great with those settings that I provided either way. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the new wood product here. Let me know what you think. You can reach me on my Facebook account below and then just click the message button. Or you can just find my personal account and then message me directly if you want to purchase this stuff. I might have mentioned it earlier. This is going to be $7 a sheet. And then there will be shipping and tax that are involved just because that's the way the world is. I'll be shipping it in the flat rate boxes, the little board game boxes like this. So I think it's currently $21.90 for shipping costs, and then whatever your standard taxes is. So that's pretty much it. I want to be upfront about everything with you guys, and I'll send you guys photos, whatever you need. I just want to help the community out, and that's pretty much it. We'll catch you guys next time, and we'll talk to you later.